It's weird. It's a weird feeling. Only this being my second year and those guys the first years, they make me feel old. And I only been here 1 year myself, so just having a little experience, I feel like I'm here for these guys if they have questions. It was big. It was a lot I learned from my mistakes last year. When I go back, actually this summer I was going back looking at some old games and I was kind of getting on myself like, what are you doing? Because I know stuff now that I didn't know then. So definitely looking forward to this year and looking forward, leading these guys whenever I can and just leading by example.
You talked about feeling like the elder statesman right now, even though you've only been here a year. How does the departure affect your play on the field, and how's it going to force you to grow up, football maturity-wise, on the field?
It's gonna force me to be a leader, because God's gonna come to me sometimes, if they have questions, and I'm gonna have to be there and be able to deliver an answer and be able to deliver on the field as well, so they can have somebody to follow after, and be like, he did this, he listened to coach, he did this technique, and he made this play, instead of just being the second year and they just feeling like we're all like we don't have no one that can show us the ropes right now, so. I was just telling the other guys in the media room, I learned so much from them. Just the way they prepare for games, their work ethic throughout the summer, and just their overall role as leaders. They were the definition of leaders. Rodney McLeod and Chase Minnifield. You can always go to those guys. They practice hard every day at practice. Never took a play off. And those are the type of guys that you look up to, and that's the type of guy I guess I would try to be this year for the guys that's 1 year under me.
What did you learn playing on the football field as a freshman? I mean, a lot of growing pains, and
Yeah.
you learn a lot as a freshman.
Yeah, it was a lot of growing pains, and I'm happy I got to go through them things, because this year, last year I felt a little hesitant sometimes, not actually going for a ball, or I might not have been in the right spot at the time, or know the little things that can help me make a play. This year that I know those things, I can be ready to go let it all hang out and just go out there and ball.
And you may be on the other team's top receiver.
Yeah, yes sir. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Just being able to be that guy that you can count on. Be like, go, you gotta check this guy this week, and just be ready for the job.
How hard is it going to be with all that you? I mean, you talked about how hard it was for you. Now, virtually everybody back there with you is going to be on the job training.
Yes sir.
How hard is it going to be for them as a group to do this?
Well, we had great guys to look up to, while we were here last year, as in Rodney McLeod, Corey Mosley, Chase Minnifield. So it's nothing real brand new to them, knowing what to do. I mean, it's just going to be different. They actually out there, and the experience level is going to be different. But, as soon as they, get into camp, we start practicing together, start talking, amongst each other, communicating on the field. It'll be like second nature. We can all grow together. Just we're all young, so we're going to be together for a while. So this year, it's going to be the start of great things to come.
Looking back, how big were those short practices for the guys now that you were playing with?
They were big. We was practicing, when they get in the game, Coach London and Coach Rita say, don't wait till next year till it's your turn to play to, try to pick up on these things and pick up on the defense. Get ahead right now while you can. So, like I said, it's not going to be nothing brand new to them. The experience is going to be brand new, being actually the starters, being in the game and stuff like that. But as far as knowing what to do, they're gonna be great, and we're going to be a great secondary.
How much do you guys talk about kind of keeping it rolling and building off of the success, especially as a younger guy? Your first year, you guys experienced this success.
Yes, sir. We definitely needed that. It was like a taste that we needed, that Virginia didn't have in a long time. So once we got that, we know what it feels like, and we definitely want to, get there again and get even further, move past that and get better. So, it was something needed last year to see how it feel to, have a winning season and, not lose as many games. So now that we know that, we're going to be hungry for it, and we're going to go every game and, we want to win. Yeah, I mean, I don't really pay attention to the predictions. Last year they had us predicted, second to last or even last, and we ended up, almost competing for the ACC championship. So we just worry about, ourselves. We know what we can do. We just work hard and just go into every game, just expecting to win that game and take it week by week.
With Chase being out of the bowl game last year, he kind of threw you into that number one corner spot. What did you learn from that experience, and what can you take from that game going into this season, being the number one guys and be expected to lock down number one receiver?
Yes, sir. It was. I was like, wow, this is. I thought about this is how it's gonna be next year when he's not here. So, you know, it was unfortunate that he got hurt, but I learned from it. I'm gonna have to be the guy out there, and Dom Joseph, the fifth year senior that was here last year, he's also gone. So it's basically just me and other guys that can play also. So it was a great experience for me. Being the guy that the number one corner. You got to check the number one receiver or whatever goes on that game. So I'm happy I got to experience that, and just with him not being there, because that's how it is now. He's not there no more.
Certainly, the secondary will be an experience. This year, do you think that the secondary has the talent level to be in the lead secondary once they get some seasoning and in-game experience?
Yes, sir, without a question. And, I know my guys. I know the guys we got back there, safety and corner spots, and we got depth now. Even the younger guys coming in, we're athletic. We're all on scholarship like every other team, and we're confident. So, we're young, but we got here just like everybody else got here by working hard and being able to play. So.
And in those first couple of games, you've got some pretty good teams. You're playing Penn State, TCU, Louisiana Tech, Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to be thrown in the fire right away. Do you think your guys will be confident going into those games to be able to handle that kind of that kind of pressure?
Yes, sir. We kind of don't have no choice but to be confident going into them, because you don't got time to think. You just gotta, you're gonna be in front of the crowd. You're gonna have guys looking at you, expecting you to do your job, and you just got to show up and just play. You know what to do. You just got to play. So I don't think confidence is going to be a factor. We're going to be confident, and we're going to play and just go out there and play like everybody else does.
Like a freshman player last year, what do you feel like was the most valuable lesson you learned, and something you can share with the young guys this year?
I definitely say don't keep your eyes in the backfield. Play action. Things things like that. They'll try to get you. So that was my biggest growing pain last year. Biting on the play action, and then them going over top. So definitely that, and just don't be scared to go make plays, because I was hesitant a lot last year, and this year just got to get out there, just go.